Cyberbullying can occur, of course, it's cyber because it happens on the internet, but it can occur via instant messaging, it can occur via emails, it can occur, on social media, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. But the thing, and there's research shows that we have 1 in 5 girls being bullied versus 1 in 10 boys. So girls are twice more likely to be bullied than boys. So that tells you that if you have a girl, you need to be more more observant for about these things. And what I would say is that, especially for the older kids, to help yourself and help your friends. One, we have talked about that a little bit. Do not, it's stranger alert. Anyone that you will not normally talk to in person, that you don't know in person, and you don't know somebody who knows them very well, do not accept friend requests from them on social media. They may look good, they may have a profile that looks good, they may be, maybe they play soccer at so high school, or their favorite basketballer, but do you know somebody who knows them in person? That's what I tell my children. If you don't know them in person and you don't know somebody very well, who knows them very well, do not accept friend requests from them. That's number 1. Number 2, you also have to look for just not yourself, but even for your friends as well. Because one, like they say, if you say something, if you see something, say something. One, you have to look, and there are many signs out there that can tell us what is going on. One, is there any, is your child or your friend beginning to, withdraw? If your child is beginning to withdraw, as the parent, you need to ask questions. If your friend is beginning to withdraw, you need to ask questions. If your child, for instance, let's say, okay, now, of course, most people are home, but for those who go to school, if a child all of a sudden becomes lethargic about going to school, there seems to be something, you can't put your fingers on. That's time to have a conversation with them. But for the children themselves, if you begin to see that your friend is cold or kind of, laid back, doesn't want to talk, or is afraid, or when you mention something, they cringe, that's something to think about. And I always tell my children and the children of my friends, sometimes maybe you're afraid of bringing it up with your friend. It's okay to speak to an adult. Speak to an adult and say, hey, auntie, hey, uncle, I'm not sure, but I think, and, once you've said it, leave it for the adult to handle, because sometimes the person going through it they're too afraid to talk about it. And the danger of, being cyberbullied is that those things are out there, but they are not easily detected. And because they are not easily detected, that's why the bullies get away with it. So it takes people who are really, really very observant, either as parents or as friends of the person being bullied, to help. What are you looking at? What's the changing pattern that you see in your child? What's the changing pattern that you see in your friend? And if they are beginning to tiptoe and, have conversations in whispers, and when you come in, they quickly switch topic, or they just shut down the call, those are signs that something is going on. It's not always all the time, but those are signs that you can be definite that there's something going on. Research tells us that mean or hurtful comments online is about 23%. Rumors online is about 20%. Posted mean names or comments with a sexual meaning, 13%. Somebody is threatened, or they say, I'll catch up with you during soccer, or I'll meet you after soccer, or I know how you get home, I know where you go, I know which route you take home. Those are threats. They shouldn't be taken lightly. So we have to teach our children, if somebody starts threatening you or saying things like that to you, you need to talk. You need to speak to an adult. You need to speak to a teacher. And I want to stress here for us parents, this is where it is important for you to be friendly. I'm not saying don't be your child, I'm not saying be your child's best friend, but you have to be in a situation where your child is comfortable enough with you to come and discuss with you. Let me share something very personal with you. When my daughter was in middle school, she went to a girls' charter school. Around that time, we had a couple of parents about 6 of us, I think 2 were Nigerians, about 2 were Jamaicans, and 2 were Haitians. But these kids were friends in elementary school, and somehow they ended up in the same middle school. So, you know, every now and then we will meet in their homes, and we've actually had little PRI meetings for them in their homes. We would encourage them to bring their friends, and they would just sit there, be a potluck, we'll sit down and talk, and then, you know, encourage them to ask questions. So on one of such meetings, we told them, look at these parents here. We are all hawks. We are all tigers. We will come after anybody that comes after you. And each one of us has given the other person permission to watch out for their child. I have given Mrs. A permission to watch out for my child. I've given Mrs. B permission to watch out for my child. That means that permission means that they can step in and act on my behalf. So we told the girls, it's not about snitching. If Mrs. A catches you doing something, know that she's going to tell me. Now, what's the story? The story is there was one particular girl, an older girl, who went after my daughter. Apparently, she's lesbian, and she's looking for a lesbian mate. But my daughter was clueless. She had no idea. But there was another older girl who saw the signs, went and confronted the other girl and said, stay away from her. She's my friend. Stay away from her. And then she now spoke to her own mother and said, Mom, so person in school went after my friend. Can you talk to her mom? You know? So you see how a child looking out for another child, that helped me, that helped my child, because now we had a conversation about it. We brought it up to the school's notice and things like that. But if that other child was not attentive or felt like, we wouldn't have known. And we wouldn't have been able to help my daughter. So we had to help her because, thank God, another child was observant. So you have to teach your child what to do, how to be observant. And back to what I was saying, if that child was not comfortable with her own mother, she would not have been able to call her mother's attention, because as an African or immigrant or, you know, African American parent, when your child is about to tell you something, you hear the first sentence and you go, no, and you start screaming. Trust me, you will not hear the rest of it. 1. Number 2, that child will never come and confide in you, because 1, your reaction just, you know, messed up everything. So we have to have a relationship with our child such that that child feels comfortable enough to talk with you, to speak with you. That child feels comfortable enough to tell you when somebody makes an advance at them. But if you are this kind of parent that is always, you know, you are the high and mighty, you are always right, you are never wrong, you are going to lose that child, God forbid. So we have to be careful. Part of how we can keep our kids safe online is to be open, to have open conversations with them, to let them know that there's nothing too big to discuss with you, that you're not going to kill them. Many of them actually believe it. When an African parent says, oh, you're going to kill me, my father is going to kill me, or my mother is going to kill me, please let them know you're not going to kill them. You're not going to kill them. You want to know so you can help them. And don't overreact. Even when it is not what you want to hear, do not overreact. You will lose that child. You will lose their confidence. You will lose their trust. So we have to teach our kids to watch out for each other online, and we have to watch for them online. If you see something about another child, if you don't think you are friends enough with that other parent, find somebody and say, please, can you check Mrs. Ajayi's child? You know, can you check Mrs. Banjo's child? You know, can you check Dr. Ladapo's child? Can you let Dr. Ladapo know that I found this online? It may be nothing, but it's just good to look into it and drop it. Don't go and tell a 3rd and 4th and 5th person. Call Mrs. Oladapo. Like I know Mrs. Foluke Ajayi and Dr. Ladapo are friends. So if I find something, I can say, hey, Mrs. Ajayi, I know you, both of you are friends. Please ask her to check her daughter's Instagram, or ask her to check her son's Facebook, and leave it there. But we really, really have to do this. And like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. That is absolutely very important here, because you can't be everywhere. You can't do everything, but you can have eyes and ears, people that share your values, people that have like minds with you, that can help you watch out for your child there, and also teach your own child to watch out for their friends.